Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. Now, I actually spend a lot of time in coffee shops, and one of the things that I've noticed, and I think a lot of people notice, is the fact that when you're in there, a lot of people are using Apple and Mac and Windows laptops. And so, seeing somebody use something other than that is really not common. And as a matter of fact, I'm seeing way more Apple MacBooks than I do Windows laptops. Now, one of the things that I do notice, obviously, is I'm usually the only person there who's running Linux on their laptops. And every now and then, I might find that one rare person once a month that's actually running a Linux distro on their laptop. And when that happens, I get really happy. And then, you kind of have this like weird Linux connection with this other person. And so that makes me think, like the Linux desktop, it's something that's been a dream for a lot of people, hoping that it would like overtake Windows or even overtake Mac, which I think that's possible. But for the Windows laptops, I don't think that's ever going to happen, where the Linux desktop OS is going to take over. So with that being said, now that Linux is, I would say it's not extremely popular, but it is something that is more mainstream than it used to be. Okay, so if you were to talk to people out there, most people know what Android is, and a lot of people know a little bit about what Linux is. But if you think about even like 5 years ago, nobody would know what you're talking about. And then if you think about a decade ago, they would think you were speaking like a foreign language. And so, when I talk a lot about Linux, and so whenever you see Linux out in the wild, in a lot of ways, it makes you like kind of happy, and then back then you kind of felt really, really special, because it's like this secret society of Geek Society. We're the only people who know about Linux, but that's simply not the case anymore. But it really depends on what country you're at, I think. And I think like in countries like in Asia and parts of Europe, where Linux is a lot more, I would say, used more by even government institutions, and so it's probably something that's not uncommon. Or maybe even here in the US, if you're in a place like Silicon Valley where there's a lot of technology, then you see more people with Linux. But it's just nice to see Linux out in the wild every now and then, and I really hope that it's something that more people embrace. And any chance that I could get, if I'm at a coffee shop or wherever I'm at, and people look at my laptop and they're like curious about, hey, what are you actually running? And I tell them it's Linux, and they're like, hey, what's Linux? That's awesome. That's one of the huge reasons why I make all of these Linux videos, is because I really feel like everybody should at least have this as an option and as alternative. And also, if they know nothing about it, then it's a great time. And it's a great time for people to learn about something other than a Windows or Apple ecosystem, and also the many wonderful things that come along with Linux and also the Linux community. And so that's just my quick thoughts today. I saw Linux out there in the wild. I gotta say that it's in the wild, and so it's really, really cool when you do see somebody else with Linux and at the same time you're able to share it. And so if you had any thoughts on seeing Linux and using out there in public, be sure to leave in the comments area below. And if you had any other suggestions on how we could get Linux out to more people out in the public, then I would also like to know that as well. So thanks for watching. If you did get a lot of value out of these videos, leave a like and subscribe. And as always, if you did want to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/geekoutdoors. We'll see you on another episode.